I never imagined my life would change on a night. I thought I wouldn't survive. It happened on a remote island. One of those places the tourists only visit during the day, but disappear from before the sun sets. I was there on vacation, thinking I'd find peace by the sea, but the peace ended the moment. I took a wrong turn down a narrow, dimly lit street. It was dark, too dark. The sound of waves crashing against the rocks was drowned out by voices rough, angry voices from somewhere nearby. My heart pounded. I tried to retrace my steps, but the alleys twisted and turned like a maze. Then I heard footsteps behind me. I turned. 3 men were following me. Their eyes were cold, their faces unfamiliar, their smiles dangerous. "Lost, sweetheart?" One of them sneered. Panic clawed at my chest. I clutched my bag tighter and walked faster, but the path only led me deeper into the shadows. The wind was sharp with the smell of salt and smoke. My phone had no signal. My voice trembled when I whispered, "Please, just leave me alone." And then a black car slid to a stop in front of me. The door opened. A tall man stepped out, broad shoulders, dark hair slicked back, wearing a crisp white shirt, with the sleeves rolled up, like he didn't care about the rules of the night. His eyes, my God, his eyes were the kind that could make you freeze sharp, calculating, dangerous. The 3 men behind me immediately stopped. One of them muttered something in a language I didn't understand. "Get lost." The newcomer's voice was low, commanding, like a storm rolling over the ocean. The men backed away without another word. I stood there, breathless, my pulse still racing. "You shouldn't be here," he said, stepping closer. I should have run, but something in his tone wasn't just warning, it was protective. I'm lost," I whispered. "I can't find my hotel." His gaze softened, just a fraction. "Come with me." The inside of his car smelled faintly of leather, and something warm spice, maybe. I sat there in silence, unsure if I'd just stepped into safety or into another kind of danger. "You're not from here," he said after a moment, his eyes flicking toward me in the rearview mirror. I shook my head. "No, I came for a holiday." His jaw tightened, but his tone remained calm. "You were about 5 minutes away from trouble. You wouldn't have walked away from." My stomach knotted. I looked at him properly this time, the sharp lines of his face, the faint scar on his jaw, the way his hand gripped, the wheel like he was always ready for a fight. He wasn't just any man. I should thank you," I murmured. "You should be more careful," he replied. But there was no anger, just a strange kind of concern. He took me to a villa. Not a hotel. Not a safe house. A villa on the cliffside, the waves roaring far below. Inside, the place was luxurious but quiet, almost lonely. He poured me a glass of water, and when I hesitated, he sat across from me. "My name is Luca," he said simply. I told him mine, my voice still shaky. "Why are you here alone?" he asked. I explained my planned sunsets, beaches, a break from my hectic life and how I had wandered too far. He listened without interrupting, but his eyes never left my face. I could feel them studying me, as if searching for the truth beneath my words. "You look like you don't belong in danger," he said at last. "And you look like you live in it," I replied before I could stop myself. He smiled, then slow, unexpected, almost warm. That night, I stayed in one of the guest rooms. He insisted. "It's not safe to send you back this late," he said. I thought I wouldn't sleep, but the sound of the ocean outside the balcony was strangely calming. At some point, I woke up and saw him standing on the terrace, smoking, his phone pressed to his ear. His voice was low, in another language, but his expression was serious. That's when it hit me. Luca wasn't just some man who happened to find me. He was someone powerful, dangerous, a mafia man. And yet, he had saved me. Over the next 2 days, I stayed in the villa, partly because he told me to, and partly because I didn't want to leave. He wasn't always there. Sometimes he disappeared for hours, returning with the weight of the world in his eyes. But when he was, he treated me with a strange mix of distance and care. He never crossed a line, never touched me without reason. But he'd notice if I hadn't eaten. He'd make sure I had what I needed. He'd ask about my life, my dreams, like he wanted to understand me. And slowly, I began to see the man beneath the danger. One evening, as the sun dipped into the horizon, I asked, "Why did you help me that night?" He looked at me for a long moment. "Because you reminded me of someone I couldn't save." My chest tightened at his words. On my last night, he drove me back to the main part of the island. At the pier, he handed me a small charmed silver, shaped like a wave. "For luck," he said. I smiled, even though my heart felt heavy. "Will I ever see you again?" He didn't answer directly. "If you ever get lost again, I'll find you." And then he was gone, the black car disappearing into the shadows. I left the island the next morning. But sometimes, when I hear the ocean at night, I think of Luca, the man who lived in danger, that treated me like something precious.